Where did humans come from? Let's trace our origins back to 4.6 billion years ago. With the explosion of a supernova, the primordial sun gradually formed within a giant blue molecular fish. The surrounding matter then interacted with each other, forming the present solar system. Our Earth also emerged from this chaos. The early Earth's environment was extremely harsh, with no trace of life. It wasn't until 3.8 billion years ago, as Earth's geology gradually stabilized, the surface temperature began to slowly drop from its initial 10,000 degrees Celsius. Water vapor condensed, and with the constant flow of water, Earth's oceans gradually formed. Anaerobic organisms then began to appear in the oceans. 2.5 billion years ago, due to the dramatic increase in oxygen levels in the atmosphere and oceans, countless algae began to proliferate rapidly, gradually replacing the anaerobic organisms. At this point, biological evolution came to a halt. 540 million years ago, with the Cambrian explosion of life, in just 20 million years, countless different species of creatures emerged one after another on Earth. Here's the key point. 420 million years ago, a creature called the finfish evolved into quadrupeds after leaving the water and crawling onto land. To survive, they gradually evolved into amphibians, reptiles, and mammals. But to this day, many people still don't believe that the human ancestor was actually a fish. Darwin's theory of evolution has long been deeply rooted in people's minds. Evolution states that primates began to exist over 60 million years ago. Unlike the dinosaurs, they did not become extinct due to an asteroid impact. They successfully survived the fifth mass extinction event, and fortunately 25 million years ago, primates successfully split into two groups. One group evolved into monkeys and the other into chimpanzees and humans. It's worth noting that chimpanzees diverged 6 million years ago, so they ultimately failed to evolve into intelligent creatures. This is why chimpanzees and humans share a 99% genetic similarity. 4.4 million years ago, the first upright walking hominins finally appeared. However, large land mammals posed a threat to them, so they spent most of their time in trees. However, to survive, they had to come down to find food and care for their families and children. 3.7 million years ago, the southern ancient plains, which evolved from the ancient plains, began an unprecedented migration to survive. Along the way, their forces were not consolidated, and they were often attacked by wild beasts and suffered various natural disasters. Therefore, this migration was constantly adjusted. This was also the most difficult period for human ancestors. 2.4 million years ago, the southern ancient plains finally evolved into Homo habilis. They transformed themselves into the leaders of the African grasslands. By this time, human ancestors were already proficient in using sticks and stone tools. Homo habilis would work together to forage, and with weapons they could better compete with other predators. Snatching food from the mouths of predators, it wasn't until 1.8 million years ago that the emergence of Homo erectus decisively determined the future of humanity. Their lack of excess fat allowed them to run incredibly fast. Upon sighting prey, they would patiently track it over long distances until they caught up and killed it. High-calorie meat gradually expanded their brain capacity. By this time, they had achieved mutual understanding and coexistence. As their population continued to grow, driven by a comfortable climate and abundant food, Homo erectus began to venture into the wider world. Human footprints gradually spread across Asia and Europe. At this moment, primitive humans finally left Africa and entered the global arena. Since then, in just a few million years, humans have created countless historical miracles, and human civilization will continue until the end of life on Earth. I believe that human civilization at that time will surely bring a perfect end to Earth.